Hi there, I'm Drew Badger, the world's #1 English fluency guide, and it is a pleasure to welcome you to another advanced listening practice lesson. Well, this is actually kind of a special video for a man named Jason from Korea. So he's been following me for a while and he's really excited about becoming an English fluency guide himself. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about how what I do, you can do as well. If you'd like to, again, kind of move from being a teacher of the language to walking with someone and helping them improve. Now, just a kind of general thing. Now, I've been doing this for over 10 years, but I want you to kind of make it clear. So especially like new people that are either starting maybe to become online educators, or even if they want to help other people in anything else. So maybe you're a fitness coach, or whatever it is you do, it doesn't matter. When you're kind of a guide for someone, as I am, it's not like you arrived at a conclusion already, and you're trying to just tell them how to get there. The point of a guide is actually to walk with someone. So say, because the situations are always changing. So you can't say like, well, 10 years ago, if I'm a teacher, I create some lessons from 10 years ago, and then they're having maybe some phrases or explanations that are like outdated. So outdated just means it's something that maybe it's from many years ago and it doesn't apply as well. And this happens a lot like language. So many things like the word go or the word eat will always be in the English language, but other things that are cultural expressions that come and go with time, those are things that you have to continually learn. So just like native speakers are watching new movies that come out, watching new TV shows and learning other expressions from people in everyday life. So new expressions come and old expressions go. So this is one of those, again, reasons why you don't want to be just standing at the end with some information from people. You want to be walking with them and explaining to people, okay, don't do that thing because people don't really do that anymore. But you do want to say this thing because this is another thing, like right now or lately, people have been using that. So you're learning at the same time other people are learning. But the interesting thing about a guide, and the reason anybody could really do it, and this is not just for learning English, but also for really anything else where you're trying to educate, help somebody else learn something. It could be an instrument, could be a sport, it could be something else, but you're really just slightly ahead of what that other person is doing. So you may think because I have 10 years of experience or more doing something, or anybody else has like 50 years of experience doing something, that, okay, you need to have lots of experience in order to do a particular thing. All you need to do is have a little bit more experience than the person, and then like as they're moving forward, you're moving forward, but like at a slightly faster pace, or you're slightly further ahead than they are. So you know exactly, hey, like when you get to this point, this thing is going to happen. And you can educate people at that time as opposed to just telling them information. So when I made the shift from being an English teacher to an English fluency guide, this was when really, I guess a number of years ago, I realized, well, it's not really helping people just to kind of teach them information in the sense that you're saying, hey, you should memorize these words and these grammar points, and everybody does English teaching the same way, and none of it really worked. So it didn't work for me as a teacher or a learner when I was trying to get fluent in Japanese. So I started changing the way I learned and developed this idea of being an English fluency guide. And now I have people like Jason that are emailing me and saying, hey, like I want to do the same thing you do, or other people, like many people use the same techniques I do. Other native speakers are also starting to use the idea of an English fluency guide, and they're understanding that the notion of being an English teacher itself is a little bit outdated. So you have to, again, stop thinking about learning the language like that if you want to be a confident speaker. If you just want to pass a test, an English teacher is great. Actually, I would recommend you use an English teacher, because that person will say, hey, for this test, you need to know this, and this, and you have to try to remember this thing, and these are the answers for that question. So for regular tests, an English teacher, but for actually learning how to speak, an English fluency guide is going to be much better. Anyway, so Jason was really excited, and he's been mailing me, and he's been making lots of progress in his own language because he's Korean, and he wanted to, just like thank me for creating the lessons I do. And I kind of want to talk about a few things in this video about that, because it's really an interesting idea of like when people send me mails and they're like, wow, you have like a lot of subscribers or a lot of views on YouTube, I want to remind people it's really a tricky thing because I'm just like a regular person. I'm not, a famous celebrity. And, even, when we do the things in the future that will make us like much more famous, like I don't feel it will really change me, because the important thing for me is that I don't want to give the impression that I'm like way up here and learners are just down here, because then it makes it much more difficult for people to think like, oh, well, if he can do it, I can do it too. So like the further away you get from the people you're trying to help, the more difficult it is for those people to really get the feeling that they can do the same thing. And now this is why, even though we do have a successful company now, I still am using the same video camera that we were using when we first got started. And I'm not really doing anything different, still just here in, a t-shirt and jeans or whatever, shooting videos, because again, it's important. Now, from a marketing standpoint, I'm actually doing things incorrectly. I should be trying to like, have like an interesting hat or like, do some like interesting fashion thing or something like that, because in the marketing world, what actually ends up selling more lessons is distancing yourself more from the people that you're trying to help. And now this is why you see like a kind of typical thing in most like entrepreneur, people that are trying to learn business or whatever. You've got like the famous guys that are living in like really nice mansions. And then you've got like all the learners over here that are living with their parents and trying to figure out how they can become, successful entrepreneurs. So it's the same thing with fluency, learning a language, learning an instrument, learning to, become a good chef or anything else. And so I struggle with this as like, it's kind of just a problem for me. Like, yes, I should like maybe think more about the marketing side and try to do the things that are required for me to like, build my business and make me personally more successful. But it makes it really like in the long run a bit more difficult for the people I'm trying to help. So anyway, this is just something I'm thinking about. Just because when people mail me, and they're like, wow, like I'm really impressed and I like really respect what you do and I'm really like all these things. And I just say, hey, like I appreciate that, but at the same time, I'm still just a regular person like you, and what I do, you can do as well. Really, the important thing is just thinking it's not even your own personal skill that you have to worry about, or how much time or what degrees you have, because I have no formal teaching degrees. I just like studied a lot about it myself, and I figured what works and what doesn't, and I get actual results from my learners, and that's like the only real thing that matters to me. I haven't had any student personally ask me like, oh, what is your degree? Like if I'm trying to like help them learn something like that. They just want to know, can they get the result they want? And that's what I guarantee for learners. So when you're thinking about these things, I want to make it clear. Number one, I'm just like a regular person. I just like want to focus on helping other people learn. And no matter what you get into, whether you want to be an English fluency guide as well, just to help people in your own area, or you want to, again, help people learn anything else, the important thing is to focus on helping the people and focus on improving their lives. And then when you focus on that, everything else becomes clear about how you should make that switch. So again, for me, when I was thinking, how can I help learners the best? Teaching English was not the correct solution for me as an educator for trying to help people speak. Again, it's a good thing if you want to learn how to pass a test, because a test just requires you to remember certain information and then use that information on the test. But the real world requires you to actually have the habits of a native English speaker. So someone that can speak fluently is someone that can listen to people, they can react quickly, they can respond in a, even if they don't know exactly what they want to say, they can say something, they can sound intelligent, and they can enjoy a conversation, they can laugh at the same jokes that other people are saying. And all of these things required not a teacher, but an English fluency guide. So I know I'm talking about quite a few things in this, but the most important one is, number one, that I'm not anything special and I'm not trying to like make myself into someone that's amazing. It's really, I'm just trying to help people learn, and you can do the exact same thing, whether it's for learning English or something else. So never forget that, even if we have 1 billion subscribers on the channel, I'm still like the same guy that's out here trying to help people learn, because I'm trying to get fluent myself and like improve my fluency and always try to learn a little bit more Japanese. It's funny now, actually, I read Japanese books with my daughter, so just like little children's books. And it's funny because I'm still learning new words. They like other like little things that I wouldn't have expected I might find in a book and think, oh, like that's the word for that. That's really interesting. Anyway, think about those things. Like I'm here to help. And if you do have questions, put them down in the comment section below this video. But whether you're looking for like somebody else, like, you know, you're learning entrepreneur stuff or anything, remember that the people that are doing those things, like they're just people like everybody else. And the more you look at them like, wow, like you're really amazing, like the less you think of yourself as you're able to do that thing. So when I, as like an entrepreneur myself, I look at people that are more successful than I am and I think, oh, they're just people like I am. And I'm sure I could learn something interesting from them, but I don't like idolize them in the sense of like, wow, like they really did something amazing, because then that makes it more difficult for me to achieve in the same way. So try to keep it in perspective. This is a great English expression that just means understand what's really happening. So it's just another person with some good ideas about how to do something. Follow that person, learn from them, but you know, they're not anything more special than you or I. Well, that's the end of this lesson. I hope you have enjoyed it. It's always a pleasure making these videos for you, and I'm really happy to know that other people are also embracing the idea of an English fluency guide. It's still a very new thing, and I look forward to other people becoming English fluency guides as well. Maybe I'll release a course about how to do that or something in the future. If you'd like to learn more about that, let me know. But until then, I look forward to seeing you in future videos, and I wish you a fantastic day. Like this video, become a subscriber to the YouTube channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. To continue learning, click on the link in this video to download Speak English Naturally, our free guide to speaking and sounding like a native English speaker. The guide reveals the 3 most important kinds of conversational English you must learn if you want to sound native, and will help you experience instant improvement in your fluency and speaking confidence. To download your free guide on a mobile device, click on the link in the upper right of this video. To download your free guide from a computer, click on the link in the lower right of this video. I look forward to seeing you in the guide.